In this video, we're going to talk about how to solve one-step inequalities with multiplication and division. So remember my properties of equality. Remember, I've got some inverses. If I have a division problem, in order to solve it, I'm going to multiply both sides. Okay, if I have a multiplication problem, then I'm going to divide on both sides. Divide on both sides. We can always solve inequalities by using those inverse operations. So the opposite of division is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. Now, when you are solving multiplication and division problems, be careful, and this is something that's important enough to write down. When you multiply or divide by a negative number, you need to flip the inequality. Okay. When you multiply or divide by a negative, you need to flip the inequality. Okay, what does that mean? Now let's look at example number 5. On example number 5, I have the problem b divided by 2 is less than -3. So to get b by itself, I'm going to identify the operation that's going on, which is division, and do the opposite. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. Now, the number that I'm multiplying on both sides is positive, so I don't need to worry about that rule. I'm just going to go ahead and continue. Timesing and dividing by something cancels itself out, so I cross both the 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom out. I'm left with a b on the left side. I'm going to leave my sign the same way. I'm going to do that multiplication. -3 times 2 is -6. So to answer my graphing question, I put a starting point at -6, open because there's no or equal to, and this sign says less than, so less than. Now let's kind of look at question number 6, or question number 2 rather. I've got this division problem again, and I need to undo it with the opposite operation. So I'm going to multiply by -5, and I'm going to do the same thing on both sides. Now because this is negative on both sides, I'm going to flip the sign. This less than sign is going to change to greater than. So notice the sign right here, it changed to greater than because I'm timesing by a negative. And I'm left with n on the left side. 2 times -5 is -10. So when I graph that, starting point at -10, and this says greater than, it's a big side first, so to the right. Let's look at some division property of inequality. So as I look at this next problem and I draw my line, and here's C, 4 is being multiplied. So how do I undo it? I'm going to divide, and I do the same thing on both sides. Now is this number 4 positive or negative? It's positive, so I'm going to leave the sign the same. And I'm going to do the math. 4 on top, 4 on bottom cancels to 1, so I can cross it off and bring down the C that's left over. And I do that math. -12 divided by 4 is -3. On the other hand, on this next example, here's my line. Okay, here's my variable. When I divide by both sides, I'm dividing by -8. This is negative. I'm dividing by a negative. So this inequality sign is going to change from greater than to less than. The -8's cancel. I'm left with a p to bring down, and -56 divided by -8 is 7. And that's what I have. Okay, those are my rules for solving. Biggest thing to remember, if you multiply or divide by a negative, you need to flip the inequality sign. If you have any questions, please reach out and have a great day.